This is Calling show number 7 of the London Bridge Talk Show, where we bridge the gaps with 3 generations of Gabby gays. And bridging the generation gaps are your hosts, Sean Chandler, Donny Winter, and Ace Lundon, that's me. And as the elder at age 80, I shall moderate the show with Sean at age 50 and Donny at age 27, I believe it is. Let's see how the generations think. We could be called the gay male answer to The View, I think, yeah. Welcome to the show, folks. Please fasten your seatbelts. No topic is taboo, and we warn you in advance that all 3 of us actually do have potty mouths. There is so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us, it is hard to tell which of us ought to reform the rest of us. And I'm speaking specifically to Sean and Donny, because there's so much bad in the best of them and so much good in them that they could actually reform everybody. Hello, guys. How are you?
My Ace. Hi, guys. Hi, listeners.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. I'm going to start the show with a little bit of a rant, so to speak. It's not really a rant, folks. It's just some thoughts, because I think it's important. And then us 3 little girly guys will talk about it, okay? Since we are who we have been becoming. We are who we have been becoming. Now, that's important. If you don't believe it, check your girdle and unloosen it a little bit. We are who we have been becoming. Well, no matter whether you're 27 like Donny, he is who he has been becoming. Sean, he's just been becoming it a little longer, and I got a couple years beyond that. And one of the things that is in all our lives, and, they say, don't talk about politics or religion. Well, get over it, folks. We're going to talk about religion. Because religion is one thing that no matter where you are in the world, it affects you. And you have an effect upon your chosen religion. Now, I think we need to take a look into this, guys, and let's see what we can come up with here. What causes anyone to choose a religion? What causes a person to choose a religion? Sean and Donny, you've chosen, I've chosen. But what age or what generation do most folks begin to search in the religion area of life? For this, when they're making choice. And the only thing I could think about was that, maybe think about your family members, your mother, your dad, your aunts and uncles, etc. Think about your best friends. When did they become, Catholic, Protestant, Muslim, whatever. There are hundreds of religions. When did they make that choice? What part of our environment is involved in making a religion choice? Your family? Are you what religion you are because of your family? Where you were raised in a certain part of the country or the world? Maybe your formal education. Did that have a factor? Or how about your best friends in high school and college? Did they influence you in making your choice of a religion? Do folks turn to religion if they think they are dying? We've all heard of these deathbed conversions, And we need to know why we chose. Is the basis for choosing a religion fear? Wow. Fear of death. Fear of probably going to some hell when you die. Or the need of an emotional support in a life through providing the crutches which only a religion might give. Is that where it all starts? In your choosing a religion? Maybe a religion is chosen when the physical, mental, emotional pains in life are so rough that you're totally stressed out and you need a healer. So you choose a religion that will maybe help heal you. And I think we'd probably be surprised to find out how many religions are chosen when a business goes bankrupt or a divorce gets ugly. So when are most religions chosen in life? It's an important lesson to learn since we are who we have been becoming. Okay, guys, how's it looking from your generation bridges? Let's discuss this thing of choice of a religion. Everybody chooses it. But why do they do it? How do they do it? When do they do it? It's important for a person to know your roots in the area of religion because it is worldwide. Who wants to start? Throw in the basketball. Okay.
I'll take the pass.
Okay.
It's funny because after you asked the question, I jotted down some notes over here, and you pretty much answered the question that you asked, but I've sort of organized it. I think when you're younger, you inherit your religion from whoever your parents are. If you were born from a Catholic family, you're generally going to church, and a Catholic church, and Christian church. You're raised up in that environment. As you become older, I think that it can provide you with a social group. A religion will often, if you go and you join a church, there are generally lots of activities that are associated with the church itself, especially these big like mega churches that are out there that have basketball courts and gyms and movie nights and whatnot. And then I think that as you get older, I think a lot of it has to do with, as you said, fear of death, fear of failure, fear of loss. There's something that you feel like I think you need to cling to give you the answers, because we don't like sitting in shit. We want all of the big questions of life answered for us, and it's too difficult just to have faith in the universe itself. So I think that to me is how it breaks down.
Okay. Making a lot of sense there, Sean. Okay. Donny?
I completely agree with what you said, Sean, and I completely agree with the questions you posed as well, Ace. I guess for me, from my perspective and my generation's perspective, I've discovered that independence seems to be connected with freely selecting one's religion, because as you were saying earlier, Sean, when we're younger, we tend to inherit religion, as opposed to when we grow older, we tend to start branching out a little bit and, getting a feel for what religious area fits us the most. And I feel like later in life, when we feel like we don't have control, we need that mental security that something or someone else does have control. And I feel like that's why there are so many religious confessions at that point in life, or religious conversions.
Mm-hmm. Now, folks, we are talking about all religions of the world. This includes, Catholic, Protestant religions. This includes all of the many, many religions, plus Muslim, plus Buddhism, plus all of them. These are, and basically Christianity is not the largest religion in the world. Muslim is. So now the people that have chosen, supposedly, the Muslim religion, of course, they're raised in it, like you were saying. It's a thing in the home. they've grown up with it. They've had it pounded into their head, just like many of us Christians have it pounded into our head when we were young. And we go to church and Sunday school all the time. I had 14 years perfect attendance at Sunday school. Mother made sure of that. Dad just made sure that we were driven to the church. He didn't stay for anything. But I grew up in the church, a little country church in South Dakota. And then there came the time when you're 14, I think it is, or something like that, for being confirmation. And I know that the Catholic Church has this as well as the Protestant churches. There's a system of confirmation. What is that? Confirmation is when the pastor of the church or a teacher in the church takes the young people in a series of weeks and weeks of looking at the theology involved with that particular church. And you learn all of the Nicene Creed and all of these things, and they become like a part of your life. And by that time, when it's over, then you're getting ready to leave high school, and you're on your own. Now, when you left home, guys, now I don't know what church background either of you had, but when you left home, did you make many changes in your so-called religious life and religion?
Well, I didn't, because I had my father was, I want to say, atheist to agnostic.
Well, atheism is a religion, by the way.
Okay, well then, whatever doesn't believe really necessarily in religion is what my father espoused. And I don't think my mother really had the wherewithal to commit to any kind of religious program whatsoever. She was more about what was going on in her own mind. And I don't. So when I left home, I wasn't religious at all. I pretty much said to myself, this is just not, this is not for me. And then I got a little more spiritual as I hit my mid-20s, but that was a completely new phase of spirituality.
And what kind of, how do you mean spirituality? Did you get involved with a group or whatever or something?
Right. It was when I decided to get sober. I quit drinking.
Okay.
I quit using drugs, and then I went into rehab for 2 years. And one of the conditions of rehab is that I had to go to AA meetings. And it went from having to go to AA meetings to wanting to go to AA meetings to be able to handle to be able to not drink in the moment and that particular day, as you know, in AA, where you may not know, but in AA, it's one day at a time. But there is one of the steps of the 12 steps deals with turning your life over to a power greater than yourself.
Okay.
And they refer to that power as God in AA meetings, or you have the option of whatever power that you choose to call a godlike power. Typically, it's referred to as a higher power. So, in essence, I think that what you would refer to that as, Ace, and we've discussed this before, is the universe. And you have this tendency to just say, I can't control this. I'm going to turn it over to my higher power. And I think that's a spiritual belief, and I think that really helps people quite a bit. And it doesn't assign itself to religion. It's just, I don't have power over the universe and what it's going to do to me right now.
Okay. And now that was when you were like in your mid-20s or something like that, right?
Yeah, I got sober when I was 24 years old in 1989.
Okay, and now you have doubled your age to 50 now. Are you still in that kind of a program, so to speak?
I don't go to AA as much as I used to, but I do go when I need to. And I would say, the steps and the principles that they give you in AA are really good for managing not just your staying off of alcohol and drugs, but more for having to deal with life on life's terms itself. It's really beneficial. It's a lot of philosophy that makes a lot of sense for people who have that affliction.
Yeah. Okay, Donny, how about you?
Well, I didn't start changing any religious perspective until I hit my first year during my undergrad. I went to school and started realizing that, I don't really...
Did you grow up in a church home?
Oh, I did, yes. My family was Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay, Seventh-day Adventist, okay.
Exactly. And I was Catholic briefly, but I can barely remember it. All I remember is them messing up my hair and getting it wet, and I was upset as a 4-year-old, if that said anything. But... As soon as I got to school, I joined a religious diversity group and made quite a few friends and started exploring different religions and realized that I'm really just spiritual as well. Like, I don't necessarily believe in a specific higher power, but I do believe that there is like a higher power, like in the universe, or the earth is a higher power, for example. I acknowledge that there are things in the universe that are outside of my ability to understand. And of course, that same year I came out, so there were so many different changes that I feel like it was kind of unnerving for my family, but I feel like they're important transitions that a person makes.
Mm-hmm. And so, like we were saying, you didn't have any situation where, it was your family and where you were raised, which is in the Midwest, and your formal education is now playing a part in it. And how about your best friends and high school, college friends? Did they affect you in your making decisions regarding your choice of a religion or your choice not to have a religion, but to simply go along with the idea of being a spiritual being?
I'd have to say yes. I had several friends, well, I still have them as friends, who were basically this melting pot of spiritual belief. Like, they would basically adapt whatever a spirituality or religious belief that they wanted to have be a part of them. And that's also the time when I met my friend Brenda, whom I do another show with, actually, who is also very spiritual, and she started asking me questions, and once those questions were posed to me, then I was like, I should think about these things, shouldn't I? And then that's honestly how I became the person that I am today.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have any fear of death?
Honestly, I really don't have a fear of death. Like,
Me?
Yeah. Do you have a fear of death?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't deign to guess what's going to happen, and, and I'm enjoying life too much, really, to want to die anytime soon.
Okay. Now, Donny, you said that you didn't really have a fear of death, right?
I mean, not at the moment I don't, but there have been times where I have feared death. It really depends on the situation. Usually when I'm confronted with a friend passing away or a family member passing away, that's usually when I am always pondering such things. But at this point in my life, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. If something happens that changes it and I'm not here anymore, well, I feel like I should always be satisfied with what I'm doing. That way, at that point, I don't feel like I regret things,
Well, during the Great War, the World War II, I can remember foxhole conversions. It seems like a lot of the men that were facing the possibility of a bullet between their eyes would do what they called conversions. They'd immediately choose either the Catholic, the Protestant, or whatever choice they were raised with. They would all of a sudden become Baptist, Muslim, whatever, but mostly not in the Muslim area. That's a different story. That's a very unique religion. Okay. Anyway,
Donny.
What?
Oh, Donny. I'm talking to Donny. Donny.
Yes.
Oh, Donny's there. Ace is taking us for a ride in the LaSalle again.
Yes.
Something I've always wanted.
Oh, you'd love it.
With Sally in the LaSalle, like in the last show.
Yep. That was good. That was good, Sean. I love that.
I think I'm going to start saying that every time you start talking about, I don't know, World War II.
Well, that's the difference in our generations. There are young gays, there are middle-aged gays just over the hill, and there are old gays. I was talking with a friend of mine that we've been friends, since Patrick and I were together, and we call him Uncle. He's 90 years old, and he lives in Cathedral City, next to Palm Springs. And we were talking about, his life as a 90-year-old. And I learned something in talking with him. He says Cathedral City has become the new gay hotspot, and not Palm Springs anymore. Cathedral City is kind of taken over that. And that was kind of new information for me. Cathedral City, California, the big gay city. And he says there's a lot of us here who are he says, not exactly as old as I am, but still quite a few of them are up in 90. And so he says, you've got a lot of us elderly gays. And then, of course, the younger ones like you at 80. And I said, yeah, okay. And he says, well, we also have a very healthy group of gays in the younger bracket. And I said, well, how do you all get along there? Is it like in the old days in what's now West Hollywood, when we were first starting out, when I've known Bill since then? And he said, in a way, yes. He says, the younger gays and the older gays do get along. He says, unlike the old days in West Hollywood, it was the gays against the lesbians and the lesbians against the gays. And yet there was always that thing with the West Hollywood, he said, where the young gays didn't really want anything to do with the older gays. So he says, there's still all of that goes on. And I says, how do you guys have churches over there and such? And he says, there are churches all over the place. He says, in Palm Springs and everywhere. And I said, do a lot of them go to church? And he says, surprisingly, he says, yeah, a lot of gays still go to church. So they have made their choices and such. And he says, and now that everybody can get married again, at this point for the gays, he says they want to be in a church that is affirming their ability to be a married couple. So I found that interesting. It's good to talk to old friends that you have to keep up with in life. Anyway.
Well, I think that just highlights the fact that religion is just a shopping cart. I mean, people can take a book, a holy book like the Bible, and generate how many religions out of it?
Yeah.
And just tailor it to whatever they want to believe, which I guess is okay because it creates, a spiritual base for a group of people. But, the Bible is a very, very violent book and a very vague book that can be taken in so many ways. And it's to me, it's dangerous. I mean, there's a dangerous aspect.
Do either of you have friends that are evangelicals? You must be born again, and that's the only way to heaven.
I think that I have people in my family who are that way.
Yeah.
But they've always got that caveat of, which drives me crazy. The love the sinner, hate the sin.
Yeah.
Because what usually is the part B of that is, if you're a sinner, you're going to go to hell, and I'm not going to see you ever again after you die.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many ways that it can be, that religion can be, a religion can be assembled. To me, it's ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I completely agree. I have family that functions that way too. Love the sinner, but hate the sin, and it always comes up at inopportune times. I mean, it doesn't anymore, but it's usually that situation where it's like, well, I accept that you're gay, but, and it's like, oh, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm.
it's so condescending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the evangelical mind is a mind that has the ability to believe that they are superior.
Oh yeah, it's condescending. It's rude. It makes people not accept who they are for years and decades, and especially when it comes to gay people. I mean, you guys have heard me say this before, but I really think that gay always surfaces, and it's going to surface in one way or another. It's either going to surface in a good, positive manner where you're a happy individual and you're proud of who you are, or you're going to stuff it down and you're going to stay in the closet, and it's going to surface in with tawdry sex. And not that there's anything wrong with tawdry sex, but it usually is connected to a lie. You know what I mean? It's like the husband going out and having sex with men while his wife is at home. That's not cool.
No, it's not. I agree with that.
I do love the word tawdry, though. Excellent vocab choice.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's okay. It's okay, Sean, as long as the wife knows that that's what he's doing. That's another story, being completely open and honest with one another. I have so many friends in my circle of life that are in what's called open relationships, and they have been in these open relationships for literally decades. And they're still together. They still love one another desperately. They don't want to leave and go with anyone else except to just once in a while, So that's both the straight and gay world.
That's a slippery slope, though, don't you think?
Well, it takes a unique mind to be able to accomplish that, I think. It does, because there are such things in our psychological makeup that are called jealousy and greed and things like that. And unless they have dealt with those, let's say jealousy, unless they have dealt with jealousy and they know that jealousy is a green-eyed monster and they should not have it, and so they get rid of it, then they don't have the problem in an open relationship. But as long as they've still got that monster in their life, they're going to have problems with their mate, with anyone else. They just want to have total control upon their mate and this type of thing. So it's an interesting psychological study.
I don't agree with you calling jealousy a monster. I think it's just a natural emotion for people who want to be married and be with one person. I think some jealousy is kind of good.
Well, so where did the old saying come? Jealousy is a green-eyed monster. It had to come from somewhere,
Somebody who fits the rant that you just gave. I guess. I mean, that's an old saying, and just because it's an old saying doesn't necessarily mean that it's true.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, really. And I think, honestly, that, okay, you can straighten me out you can gay me out if I'm wrong. But I think that the younger generation wants to go back to the more traditional relationship, or maybe it's everywhere.
I guess I have to ask what you define as traditional relationship.
Well, you meet somebody and you're monogamous and you're exclusive with them, and he's for you and you're for him, or he and she if you're a straight couple, or she and she if you're a lesbian couple.
I would say yes, because most of the people I do know right now seem to favor monogamous relationships, but there are always exceptions.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there has to be. That would be abnormal if there weren't. Yeah.
Well, personally, I prefer monogamous relationships because I can barely deal with one man. I can't imagine having to deal with more than one at once. This is why I have cats instead.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that.
I'm going to be such a spinster.
Well, as the married one in the group, I know that, my husband is definitely enough for me. But I have to say that being the middle child here, that the majority of what I see in what you're talking about, Ace, is that it skews more towards the older generation from before we started having marriage rights. I think marriage rights really came in and made people sort of re-examine their morals a little bit and say, yeah, I want to be married. I want to have this more traditional kind of thing. Whereas before with, with your generation, it was like, hey, free love and have fun.
Well, the marriage thing, when the church and the politicians got together and dreamed up this idea of having marriage and being able to control the population through people getting married, what was it like before that? I don't know, but I can imagine that it was what people might be calling free love today. I don't know.
Well, there was like a 5 or 6 year period where gay rights really started to take off back in like the mid to late 70s. And then, of course, we got the brakes slammed on us big time with AIDS, where guys were just doing whatever. And so I don't know if that's just a holdout from that, or maybe I'm just, talking out of my ass, but that seems to be what I recall.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I think it's about time to do some commercials.
Okay.
And then after that, I don't know if you guys remember, but like a couple of shows ago, we played a game that, I'll informally call No Pass or A for Effort regarding the New York Giants LGBTQ inclusive video that didn't say LGBTQ. Do you remember that when we did that?
Actually, no, but I'm old, so I don't remember it.
Crickets. Oh, my God, crickets. Okay, we're going to play a game that I'm going to call No Pass or A for Effort after I do commercials, okay?
Okay.
Okay, until then, here we go. Okay, let's give a big thank you to our sponsors. First off, we'd like to thank an awesome company run by our brilliant engineer. He's there. You just can't hear him. Miraculous Mike Means and his lovely wife, my girl Juanita. It's called Eclectic Resources, and they do great stage and theatrical design, jewelry design, audio, and video editing. Please visit their website at www.eclectic-resources.net. Next, and equally as fabulous, let's thank our friends at Diversity Rules Magazine, a wonderful LGBT-focused online magazine that can be found at www.diversityrulesmagazine.com. And also, they now have an app on your smartphone that you can download. Diversity Rules Magazine, celebrating the diversity of our humanity. And we are thrilled to now be featured on Next Big Thing Radio. It's a terrific podcasting website featuring funny and informative shows from our fellow podcasters. You can visit their site at http:// directly into nextbigthingradio.net, or if you look it up in your search engine, I'm sure you can find it. Next Big Thing Radio, podcasting for a new age. Oh, and by the way, they too have an app for your smartphone. If you'd like to learn more about the legendary Ace Lundon, you can visit his blog, Scattered Thoughts from a Scrambled Brain, where he waxes funny and philosophic on a wide range of topics, and you can find that at acelundon.wordpress.com. And if you enjoy watching YouTube videos, you can check out Donny Winter's YouTube channel at youtube.com/Donny Winter, where he discusses a variety of subjects ranging from his own personal experience of being a bullying survivor to becoming a major voice in LGBT activism. Through his videos, Donny strives to help others overcome the silence we're shamed into when facing traumatic experiences, as well as shed light on current issues within the LGBT community. To learn more about moi, my name is Sean Chandler. You can visit my writer's website at www.sean, that's SEANW Chandler.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at Sean at the Flash. And of course, visit our new Lundon Calling London Bridge website for posted shows and updates at www.london-calling.com. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/London Bridge, where, guys, we have hit our goal of over 500 likes, and we have a new banner, too.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I love the banner. Mm-hmm.
Your hair is so flaxen gold, and it's like a golden ring or something, Ace. I noticed that. I was like, yeah. Ace is going to like that his hair is so... It's like spun straw or something.
They call it silk. Matter of fact, this morning when I went to breakfast, I'm growing my hair back now from a baldy, and the lady at the breakfast shop says, "Oh, I love your hair, Ace." And she starts touching my hair. She says, "It's so soft." So I said, "Like a baby?" "Yes," she says. I said, "Oh, great."
Yeah, not too hard, ma'am. We don't want to lose much more of it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. You ready to play No Pass or A for Effort?
Okay.
Okay, good. Excuse me. Okay, you guys know of the clothing brand Dolce & Gabbana.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and of course Donny. Okay, exactly. Well, then Donny and probably Ace, you remember that they issued some sort of interview last year where they said that the only family is the traditional one with a mother and father. You recall that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, they have now put out a new handbag and shirts that feature same-sex parents and who they once called synthetic, same-sex parents and children of those parents who they once called in a previous interview synthetic and children of chemistry. So they have completely switched out their whole take on gays having children who they once called synthetic and children of chemistry to now they're actually issuing T-shirts and whatnot with non-traditional, if you will. Well, they're traditional as well, with same-sex parents and families. So
maybe they changed their religion.
I don't know what religion they are, but they've all of a sudden turned around how they feel. So do we give them a no pass or do we give them an A for effort?
Oh, an A for effort.
I give them a no pass. I mean, come on.
Why do you give them a no pass, Donny?
Well, they probably made that choice because they were losing business.
Sure, I agree with that.
I guess it's my inner activist. It just annoys me that they have to lose business in order for them to do something like that.
So you think that it hit them in the pocketbook, right?
Yep.
That's sort of like in the choice of religion. When you're going bankrupt, your company is going bankrupt, etc. Man, you could become religious real easily in any religion. Just pick one, quick, that will help you get over the bankruptcy. Or an ugly divorce. Are you kidding? Those people that go through ugly divorces, they'll all of a sudden. I am a Catholic now because the divorce is getting so bad. So they they're looking at it from the business standpoint. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Well, why do you give them an A for effort then, Ace?
Because people need to have a little bit of boost in letting them learn how to be decent people, and a little A for effort maybe will give them a boost and say, okay, you guys are doing okay, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, you know.
Well, I'm going to be the tiebreaker, and I'm going to say no pass, because I agree with Donny.
Okay.
I think that this is, maybe if this were a straight couple who because I believe Dolce & Gabbana, I believe they at least were a couple, I'm pretty sure, but if not, they're two gay men. Maybe if this were straight people who experience this backlash, and then they were educated about about gay people and same-sex parents who have children, and then they change their mind, maybe I'd give them an A for effort. But two gay men, fashion designers who probably just live gay, I don't think that they should get a pass on this. I just think that it's I think they need to do a lot more. If this is your apology, I think it sucks.
Well, maybe they've just become good Catholics.
See, I would be a little bit more forgiving of them if they had publicly apologized, and I don't recall them publicly apologizing for anything.
No.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Donny. I think it all just is in the pocketbook, and I'm not a big fan of their clothes. But then again, I'm not gay that way. I'm not a clothes shopper. I'm not a clothes horse. That's completely my husband. So, but when I do look at their clothes, they're all just branded with D&G. I don't necessarily like a big D&G on my sweatshirt.
Yeah.
If you will.
Okay.
And then I wanted to talk about one more thing, if that's okay, Ace.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. I was doing some research for today's show, and I ran across an article on advocate.com. And this is an article where it says a father was arrested for chasing his daughter with a knife after she came out to him. And apparently the dad is accused of threatening his daughter with a knife after she came out as a lesbian, and the guy's now in jail. According to WZTP, that's the Fox affiliate, I guess, where they live in, it looks like Nashville, Tennessee, which is actually a very progressively gay city. I've been there. And he was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and he became enraged when he found out about his daughter's sexuality and pulled the knife, waved it at her girlfriend, and his son in separate threatening actions. Now, it says here that he was heavily intoxicated. No excuse. We've all been heavily intoxicated, or most of us. But it was about, this guy finds out his daughter is a lesbian and fucking pulls a knife on her and her girlfriend. This just infuriates me, but I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'm sure you're as enraged as I am, but I have a couple of questions for Donny based upon this.
Of course.
Since Donny is our resident anti-bullying expert, that's what you discuss quite a bit on your YouTube channel. Ace, when we did Empty Closet and we would encourage people to come out, you remember we would always use the caveat of saying, unless you're younger and you feel like it's going to put you in danger of either being hurt or being thrown out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Donny, if from your experience, if you're a younger person and you're at home and you live with your family and you understand, or you come to the realization that you are gay or even transgendered, if we could go that far, the first question I have is, are there signs that people should be, like little subtle signs that these kids should be looking for in the behavior of their family? And if they are negative, my second question is, what are the resources that you're aware of that they can utilize to make sure that they're going to be able to make this transition as safely as possible?
Well, to answer the first question, recognizing signs in people who could potentially react negatively to coming out, the way I discovered it was based on my parents' reactions to celebrities, for example. Like, if I would watch them watch TV or listen to them watch TV, I gathered how they felt based on their reactions to, like, controversial figures or, situations. Because I know back in the 90s there were a bunch of different situations where it was like, oh no, this gay person did that. And whenever I heard their negative response to that, that's when I realized, oh, I probably wouldn't be able to come out well. And I had an older cousin who came out to the family, and the family reacted horribly. And that's how I also knew that my family would react negatively to me coming out. Regarding different resources for them to help, come to terms with a person coming out, I'm honestly not entirely sure. I guess exposing them to media where the gay lifestyle is, featured, for example. Like, I know my parents watch Star Trek, for example, and there are a lot of gender-defying, race-defying things in Star Trek that kind of got them thinking outside of the box. So I guess it really depends on what the individual has access to also, or is aware of.
That's good observation, Donny. Yeah, very good. It's like, I don't know Star Trek from whatever, but I remember when Shatner and that black actress kissed. What
Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah, what a to-do there was about all of that. Oh my gosh, And so if you watch what people are saying and such, that's important for the young people, especially the young people today, and in their process of coming out. For my generation, coming out, it was, you just knew that you were in for a lot of hell if you came out, and that's the way it was back then. So we didn't have to even look around or wonder what anyone was going to say. We knew that we were going to catch hell, and if we came out, and we did. But that was what our generation had to go through to be able to bring it to the point where we are today. We had to be willing to take the crap that was thrown at us, the billy club up our ass and all that sort of stuff. I tell you, it was not a good time, but I don't regret that I went through it, because I certainly learned a lot from it, and that's what brought me into the activist situation that I've been in now all these last years.
Well, I remember, Ace, when we were doing the old show, that for the first, I think we did 80 shows, and I think for the first 30 of them, when I would say, okay, at this point, you knew you were gay, and you would correct me every time. Gay wasn't a thing then.
It wasn't a word, hardly. The word gay became known in 1969 when they called us gays, 69, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. And isn't it ironic that they went from meaning happy and frivolous to, closeted and tortured?
Yeah, that's like when I told my mother that I was gay. She says, "I'm so happy for you," And I thought, "Oh, here we go."
Oh, yeah, you knew exactly what she was inferring. Right?
Yeah. Then I told her, I says, "Gay means homosexual," and then she burst into tears and says, "Oh, now I'll never see you in heaven." Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're back to religion again.
Mm-hmm.
Where people
religion, our religion choice is so important that we know, how do I believe? Why do I believe what I believe today? It basically stems back to our our religion situation in the world, and we can't escape that. We cannot escape it. So it's important that we have thought about the fact that where we come from with regard to our choice of religion.
And how many? You're a biblical scholar. You mean you actually are, Ace?
I accept that as a fact. Yes,
I know this about you. How many true references to homosexuality are there in the Bible?
References? You mean?
Yeah.
There are basically not very many. They're there, but they're like you said. You can take a portion of any of the scripture and make it what you want it to be. David and Jonathan, the lovers. Well, it doesn't say they were lovers, but it does say they were lovers. That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it can, a couple of things can completely eclipse the whole belief system of a religion, and then that religion attaches itself to politics.
Yeah.
Now, what are we seeing? What am I seeing when I open up, Yahoo or Google when it comes to, Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio or even Trump? It's always like, oh, we're going to reverse marriage equality.
Well, I do follow the politics situation with a slanted eye, so to speak. And when Trump was facing the evangelicals of Iowa, oh my God, and he said, what was it? 2 Corinthians. I thought, oh, these dear evangelicals must be just going, oh, whoa, 2 Corinthians. Where is he coming from? They knew he wasn't an evangelical for damn sure, and he's not. No matter what he thinks, he does. I don't think Trump knows shit from Shinola when it comes to religion, and yet with Cruz, now there. He is a dangerous man with this religion thing, really dangerous. I would, if he were the last person on earth to vote for, I would not vote. Period. That he scares the hell out of me. Mm-hmm.
He is scary.
Yeah, he is, and so is his old daddy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like straight out of Karl Rove's ass, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're definitely evangelical. Definitely evangelical. And what is the thought of the evangelicals since the so-called revolution in the Democrat Party and in the Republican Party? The revolution was that the religious right took over the Republican Party. Why did they take it over? Because they want to have a theocracy here in this country. They want to have the United States ruled by the Bible and what their particular religion says. And that's scary, really scary. That'll be putting us into the same theocracy situation of Iran or Pakistan and all of these religious political states, they're theocracies. And that's really scary, really scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's slowly but surely creeping in, isn't it?
Yeah. And you can see from the time that they took over the party to where they are now, they don't give up. They just keep coming back, and putting forth this rule and that rule, trying to make it so that that eventually we will eventually become a theological country. It's scary. Mm-hmm. But that's why we have to be awake and make sure that our vote counts. And for anyone who doesn't vote, I kick you in the ass.
Well, Ace, I know you remember this, and Donny, you were probably still in diapers when this happened. But, well, no, you were probably in 5th or 6th grade. But when Bush was running, Bush Jr., for his second term, there was a big fear that he wasn't going to be going to re-win the presidency. And so I don't know, something like 2 or 3 months before elections were held, he came out and made this really like special overall announcement that he had planned to introduce an amendment to the Constitution saying that that marriage equality would be illegal. It was just this very, very specific thing, and I thought, that is fucking Karl Rove right there.
Mm-hmm.
That man is a ridiculous evil. He's gross. He's gross in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, what else? What the fuck else are you doing? What are you really doing here to make our country a better place?
Well, it's like, is America a Christian country? You know, because we always like to hear people say we're a Christian country. Well, Christian, that covers a hell of a lot of territory, you know. But naturally, we separated from the Church of England to be able to be free and choose our whatever religious body we wanted to choose. And so, in a way, we are a Christian country. But we are also a white country, very white. 62% of the population of the United States is white. And we have to think of these things also when, the Black Lives Matter, sure they do, but the black part of the population is only 12% of the entire population. So they don't hold a very big majority. And we have to think of all of these things when we are living our lives in this day and age. It's a complicated time, and especially now with the onset of the internet and such, because we do have the ability to really check things out, you know. Mm-hmm. And I hope that our listeners will look into the whole situation of religion in their life and religion in the lives of others around the world. Because unless we are educated with regard to what each of the religions says and teaches and believes, we're going to be up shit creek without a paddle because we have no roots ourselves. And that includes the evangelicals, because all they do is spout the things that they've been taught, John 3:16 and this, that, the other thing, you know. And then you run into someone like Trump who comes up with 2 Corinthians and he doesn't know, you know. So it's important that you know your roots with regard to how religion in the world and in your world has had an effect on you and how you are today. Do we steal? No, we don't want to steal, you know, rob somebody. Who says so? Well, religion says so. You know, my religion says I shouldn't steal. So we don't. So it has an effect on us, whether we like to believe it or not. It's the same with divorce, you know. Now we've got someone running for president who's been married, 4 times or something like that. Holy crap. In my younger years, that would never have happened. You had to be with that one person only, you know, all your life. How boring. Holy crap. Anyway.
Yeah, she's probably on notice herself.
Yeah. Especially after her layout in Playboy or whatever it was. Holy
like, you know, it's very difficult to put the first lady on notice, so he better be careful.
Now, is our show an hour or an hour and a half?
Just an hour.
Our show is an hour, and it's up in about a minute.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Okay. Oh, my goodness, folks. We have to sign off. Thank you for listening. Thank you for telling your friends about the show. Thank you for all of the things that Sean was saying about you signed in and I don't know, Sean, is that important that they sign in?
Well, they go to the Facebook page and you click like, and when you do that, all of our updates and shows will show up in their feed.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that's good then. That's right. Good.
Very good. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Well, it's getting down to the seconds now. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Donny. You have no idea. You have no idea how important you are in my life. You are definitely important. Even if we never see one another in person, that is beside the point. We are together in a spirit and a spiritual situation, and that is wonderful. And folks, thank you again for listening. Thank you for telling all your friends. And thank you, Spider-Man, for being the Spider-Man that you are and making the show possible. We couldn't do it without you. So good night, Sean. Good night, Donny. Good night, folks. And good night, Spider-Man.